Welcome into Steelers Talk by Chat Sports. I'm Meghan Payton. We've got news, rumors, injuries, COVID, a lot going on in Pittsburgh that we are going to keep you updated with. But if you guys have not already, please subscribe here. These videos are free. They're going to stay free. This is the only form of payment, so call it, that we ask of you. We are on the road to 6,000 subscribers, so help us out. And we promise you will never not be up to date on Steelers news. So the first thing we're going to talk about today is the thing that I think most of you guys probably want to know, and that's what's going on with TJ Watt. What's the latest on his injury? Will he be playing on Sunday? Well, right now, here's what we know. Mike Tomlin spoke on TJ Watt's status. He said he would leave the light on for Watt to return. Mike Tomlin always has the best, I guess, what do you want to call them? Symbolisms, analogies. But he said that there is kind of, I guess, we can think a chance for Watt to come back. He was sidelined with that hip and knee injury. This is what Mike Tomlin said. He said, I'll always leave the light on for TJ Watt. The things that he does routinely are not things that are done routinely by others. So I think what we can take from that is that TJ Watt is going to not only do what he can to be out on Sunday, but Mike Tomlin saying, hey, we would like TJ Watt back just as much as you guys would. And I do think that the Steelers need Watt back, especially with the way that they have been performing on defense. It has been a little bit of a struggle for them. TJ Watt obviously being their best defensive player, not only on their team, but I'm going to say in the league. So we are hoping he doesn't miss any time. As we've talked about, though, leading the league for maybe defensive player of the year, I think it's definitely an argument with 39 tackles, 13 tackles for loss, 12 and a half sacks, and 3 forced fumbles. I think TJ Watt is definitely in the mix for defensive player of the year now. Hopefully we do not have to see a game without him in it. So I'm feeling, I guess, positive that those MRI results came back negative. That's a good thing. This doesn't seem like a major injury. Now, I'm not super confident that he is going to be playing in this Week 11 game, but get your votes in. Do you guys think TJ Watt will be back for this Steelers versus Chargers game? Type Y for yes if you think so. Type N for no. And if you get the ad break here, this is the time. Go on, get the discussion on, get your votes in. Now, guys, if you are betting this season at all on Steelers, not on Steelers, college football, NBA, I don't care what you are betting on, BetUS is the place to do it. And they've got the great deal going on where you can put up $100 and get a 125% deposit bonus. That means you will get a free $125 if you put up $100. You've got to use the promo code Steelers125. So go to chatsports.com/bet. Use this promo code. You do not want to miss out on this. I mean, if you're going to be betting, might as well get some free money. And maybe now is the time to bet on the Steelers, or you can wait on it and bet on anything else that you would like. Now, moving on to the main other question for Sunday's game is whether or not Big Ben will be playing. As we know, he missed Week 10 due to testing positive for COVID-19. Now, he is vaccinated, so we see a lot easier of a process for him to come back than what we saw with Aaron Rodgers not being vaccinated. Big Ben just has to get 2 negative COVID tests after they have to be 24 hours apart. So if that happens, and obviously he's feeling up for it, he can play. It is questionable right now. We do not have a clear answer on whether or not Big Ben is going to be playing. So the Steelers are preparing for all options for Sunday's game against the Chargers. Mike Tomlin said that we are going to build our plan around getting Mason ready to play, with highlight his talents and skills relative to the opponents that we are intending to play. If we get to a point in the week where Ben has an opportunity to get on a moving train, that's exactly what he'll do. He'll be capable of executing the game plan. I really have no reservations about that. So to me, that is a good plan, because if you remember, Big Ben tested positive late in the week before this Week 10 matchup. So Mason Rudolph did not get the first team reps. Now I'm assuming the way that Mike Tomlin's talking is that Mason Rudolph is going to be getting a lot of reps during practice. They are going to be running him in a lot of plays, kind of preparing for that. Now, there was a lot of criticism going on about Mason Rudolph, whether or not he, should be the backup. So far in 2021, he's 242 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, obviously not playing much, apart from that game last week. And here's my thing with Mason Rudolph. We've seen a lot from him, obviously, just from Big Ben's injuries in the past. I don't think that many Steelers fans are confident that Rudolph is going to be the Big Ben replacement once he retires. Now, is he better to start than Dwayne Haskins? The Steelers have made it pretty clear that they are going with Mason Rudolph. I've argued that I'd like to see Dwayne Haskins, but I will say I'd like to see Dwayne Haskins in the sense of if they were going to potentially consider him to take over after Big Ben. I do understand that Mason Rudolph is probably the maybe safer bet for this week. He's obviously going to have more practice time. So I expect Mason to perform better than he did last week. With more reps comes more practice, comes hopefully a better performance. But if it was up to you, if you were Mike Tomlin, who would you want backing up Big Ben? Would you like Mason Rudolph to be the backup, which is currently what's going to happen? Type MR. And if you're saying, no, Mike Tomlin has it all wrong, I would go Dwayne Haskins. Go to the comments and type DH. Now, this Week 11 matchup is going to be important because obviously an AFC competitive team. But the reason why I think this game is going to matter is because if it comes down to wild card placement, the Chargers right now sitting at 5-4, the Steelers sitting at 5-3-1. I can't believe we have to say that for the rest of the season. Anyway, I think that the Chargers and Steelers could be potentially fighting for a wild card spot. And it'll come down to, who won this game if the records are the same. So I think that the Steelers are going to come in ready for this game. Now, obviously, the tie that the Steelers had will most likely make it where, it's going to be a record determining who, makes that wild card spot. But the Chargers are doing well this season. Justin Herbert has been playing well. Obviously, they've had some down games, but 2,545 yards for Herbert this season, 19 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, though, which is pretty high. Now, obviously, this comparison isn't realistic given that Mason Rudolph has played in one game, but Mason Rudolph has a quarterback rating of 70.6. Meanwhile, Justin Herbert, 96.3. I obviously would feel more confident if Big Ben was going up against this Chargers defense, but it might be Mason Rudolph. So right now we are going to, without knowing much information, predict the score. Go to the comments right now. Let's get our early score predictions in. What do you think is going to happen? I think Steelers are going to win this game. I think that tie angered a lot of people. I do not think they were satisfied with the way that Lions game turned out. I think the Steelers are going to come prepared to win. Now let's talk some rumors going around in the NFL, and that is LeVeon Bell, who once was one of the best running backs in the league. Obviously, you guys remember him at Pittsburgh. Well, he was recently released from the Ravens. And so now the question becomes, should the Steelers reunite with LeVeon? 2021 does not look like what it did back in the day. 31 carries, 83 yards, an average of 2.7 and 2 touchdowns. So his stats with the Steelers, much different. He had 1,229 yards with the Steelers. Carries with the Steelers, 5,336 yards with the Steelers, an average of 4.3 and 35 touchdowns. Now, that's the problem with running backs. They kind of have a short-lived time frame of how good they are in this league. So, I don't know if the Steelers would actually consider bringing LeVeon back now that they've got Najee Harris. I think Bell would probably obviously take on a backup role, which I don't know if he would be okay with back in Pittsburgh, but something to keep an eye on as the Steelers kind of see what's going on in the NFL league news. I don't know, though. Do you guys think the Steelers should at least consider signing Le'Veon Bell? If you like this idea, type 1 for yes or type 2 for no. I'm going to pass on this because I think the Steelers are in a good place right now. I love Najee Harris. He's getting better and better. He's so strong. He's young. He has so much room for improvement. Le'Veon is kind of on his way out, obviously. Cut by the Ravens. I think, it is what it is. He was great whenever he was in Pittsburgh, but the time is over. But get your votes in. Maybe you guys have different opinions. By the way, it is Minkah Fitzpatrick's birthday today, and unfortunately for him, he is celebrating with a COVID positive test. So I hope he's feeling okay. Not the most ideal way to be spending your birthday, but let's give Minkah Fitzpatrick some birthday love in the comments. Go type HBD. Wish Minkah a happy birthday. Obviously, we will have more updates on him and other injuries going around in Pittsburgh as the week goes on. But same thing with Minkah. If he is vaccinated, he is going to need to have 2 negative COVID tests with the 24 hours apart in order to play in this week's game. Now, these are things that we keep you guys updated with here at Steelers Talk. So reminder, go to youtube.com/SteelersTV to subscribe today or click that big red button.